Hare Krishna, everyone. You are listening to the late morning program with Namras. This is your host, Namras. I am here with a very interesting guest, Geoffrey Giuliano, also known as Jagannath Das. So a little bit background. Lucian Wong or Lalita Madhava Prabhu messaged me and said, "Hey, Nam, do you watch Squid Game? Did you watch Squid Game?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "One of the cast members is a Hare Krishna devotee." And I said, I almost fell off my chair. I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "Yes." And then he put me in contact with Jagannath Das Prabhu. And here we are doing this interview. Prabhu, thank you so much for joining me.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Jai, Jai. So, Prabhu, please tell us a little bit about yourself, how you came in contact with devotees, and let's start there.
The first rock concert my mother ever allowed me to go to was something called the Rock and Roll Express that was rock stars on a train, Janis Joplin, The Doors, all these kind of people, Grateful Dead. And this was 1971 in Toronto at CNE Stadium. And my mother dropped me off. We lived in Buffalo. And I took some LSD.
Right.
And, I took some very strong, potent LSD. And when I was tripping, I looked over and I saw some guys in a dress, like 3 guys or 4 guys in an orange dress with their head shaved. And I said to my buddy, "Man, I think those guys must have gotten a hold of some of the same acid, freaked out, shaved their head, and put on women's clothes." That's
Right.
what I thought.
Right.
And so I walked over and they handed me a book, which I had for years and years, called Who is Crazy and the Reservoir of Pleasure. And it said on there, "Chant Hare Krishna and your life will be sublime." So I took it home and I lived in a kind of rural area on the banks of Lake Ontario. I was a hippie, obviously. And so I started chanting Hare Krishna, and I just chanted it all the time, day and night, for months and months. And then I had some sort of spiritual experiences, realizations, symptoms of ecstasy, which are described in the Nectar of Devotion and so forth. And not cities or anything, just a taste of Krishna. And there was a Buffalo ISKCON, and I used to hitchhike up there. And I used to go to the Sunday feast, and ultimately I had a girlfriend and we went with her. And so we were very involved with the Buffalo Temple and Murli Krishna Prabhu and all those guys. Who's the president of Vrindavan now? What's his name?
Panchagoda?
Yeah, Panchagoda was around.
Really?
Everybody. Yeah, Rupanuga was around.
Oh, wow.
Kirtananda was around. Everybody. That was the day. Who's the guy that's been changing the books? What's his name?
Jai Dwaita Maharaj?
Yeah, Jai Dwaita was there. Everybody. So, I never shaved my head, though, because I was very proud of my long hair. It took it's a big deal to have very long hair,
Right.
And I didn't want to shave. But anyway, so I was quite interested in Krishna consciousness. And what happened? Well, I just practiced off and on, but I was always in university to be an actor. Always since I was a little boy, it was my goal to be a movie star. Now I just want to be an actor. Apparently,
Right.
This movie star thing has been thrust upon me because of Squid Game. But I, in fact, met Srila Prabhupada, which is a very interesting story. Very interesting story. I'm going to turn off my phone here. Let me get that
Sure.
off. So I was practicing Krishna consciousness, but I had a girlfriend and I probably smoked some pot. And I wasn't very serious sadhana. But I was in London with my girlfriend. We went for the summer to play Happy Hippie. And I went to Bury Place Temple in 73. And they said, "Prabhupada's coming tomorrow." And I said, "What?" Because I'd always been there the day after he left. Whenever I went, "Oh, he just left," So I said, "Prabhupada's coming tomorrow." So they said, "Okay, well, Jagannath, or Geoffrey, because I was Geoffrey then. We're going to give you a job. Well, what can you do? Let's see. All right, I know. We got a big basket of flat rose petals here. And when Prabhupada walks into the door, you turn it over and drop the petals so they'll fall down upon Srila Prabhupada. Okay, I'll do that. So I went up there. I was all ready. I had the basket. The window was open. I'm ready to go. The car pulls up as soon as I saw Srila Prabhupada. I forgot about that basket. I ran down the stairs. I elbowed my way through all the sannyasis, and I got right up to Prabhupada, and this is what I said. It's not cool, but this is what I said. Oh, Srila Prabhupada, I'm so happy to meet you. Oh, Hare Krishna. Oh, please accept my humble obeisances. Listen, I want to be your devotee. I love your books. And he just kind of went like this. Didn't say too much and walked on. And then suddenly all these sannyasis, sort of closed the circle around him. And they all went up this sort of, as I remember, quite a narrow staircase in Bury Place. And it was, every step had about 10 people on it.
Wow.
So I knew that I could, I blew it. I'm just a stupid hippie. And I had Srila Prabhupada. I didn't act properly. No Vaishnava etiquette. I'm just, that was my chance. And I just got too excited. So I went into the prasadam room and I sat there feeling very, very sorry for myself. How could I do that? You don't just walk up to the Shaktivesh avatar of the three worlds and just talk to him like that and just get in his face.
Right.
So I was just feeling it's hopeless. That's it. I've blown it. I can never be a devotee. I'll never go. A door opened in the back of the room. And a man came out alone. And that man was A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. He walked in with his cane. He walked right up to me. I hit the floor. Paid my humble obeisances. And I got up and he said, "You are a very nice boy. You will go back to home." And I said, "Back to Godhead?" And he went, "Jai." And then he turned around and walked out of the room. Now, let me explain to you the process which occurred there. My enthusiasm was genuine. He could see that this boy he's not acting appropriately. This is not any kind of behavior for a Vaishnava, but he's a young boy and he's very excited and enthused by Krishna consciousness. And, he was up in his room and he obviously told those sannyasis, "Look, I have something I have to do. You stay here." There was no bodyguards. There was nobody. He came in that room alone to talk to me because I know he felt, oh, that boy was so enthusiastic and he's not in the room here? He's been kept back. So let me personally go and see this boy and give him my blessing. And what did he say? Hare Krishna? No, he said, "You will go back to Godhead." How many people have been told by Srila Prabhupada that they will go back to Godhead? Now, the question that I could have asked but didn't was, when? I didn't ask that. So it could be a gazillion lifetimes. It could be next week. I don't know. But there's a story about that too. It's a yoga story. I don't know if it's in our Shastra, but it's this yogi said to this self-realized spiritual master, "When will I go back to Godhead?" He said, "Do you see that tree, my son?" "Yes." "As many leaves on that tree is how many lifetimes you have to experience before you go back to Godhead." He got very angry. "That many? There's probably 100,000 leaves on there. I have to be born and live and die and go to school oh my God, that's terrible." The next day, another yogi came and said, Maharaj, please tell me when I will go back to Godhead. And he said, do you see that tree? As many leaves are on that tree as how many lifetimes you must live before you can go back home. And the devotee said, so few? Only a couple of 100,000? Oh, thank you, Maharaj, and hit the dust. So in the scope of eternity, it doesn't matter when we go back to Godhead.
Right.
You know, we'll go back when the time is right. And I love Srila Prabhupada very much. I never really had much of a father, nice guy, but wasn't a very close relationship. A father is supposed to teach his son. A father is supposed to bring his son into manhood, show him what his responsibilities and duties are in this world. And all of that work was done by Srila Prabhupada. So many years have passed, and now I'm an old man, as Prabhupada said, at the fag end of my days. I know I'm a rather exuberant fellow, but I'm an actor. Right. You know, it's like, Prabhupada was my father. I love Srila Prabhupada. I've lived for Srila Prabhupada, and I would be proud to die in a few years with the name of Srila Prabhupada on my lips. I'm a Prabhupada Nuga, I believe is the term.
Yes.
And, you know, I took my initiation in 1981, not from ISKCON, but from the Gaudiya Mangal Maharaj, who, if you read through the history, Prabhupada, when he came to America, wrote a brahmachari in the Gaudiya Mat to help him, and he was the only one that responded and said, yes, Prabhupada, I will help you. And that was Mangal Maharaj. So they were good friends. He showed me many letters that Prabhupada wrote to him. I have most of them. Wow. He only had 2 disciples in his life. He was from the Sri Chaitanya Gaudiya Mat. Mangal Maharaj, many devotees know him, older devotees.
Disciple of Bhaktivedanta Maharaj?
Yes. Yes. Do you know who he is?
Yes.
Okay. So I was his first disciple.
Oh, wow.
He used to say to me, Jagannath, you are lazy, hazy, and crazy. No, the thing is, you know, listen, everything, you know, all the things that are inappropriate about me have made me, I'm about to use the M word, made me a movie star. You know, I'm larger than life. I'm exuberant. I joke around. I'm not so, you know, Vaishnava is supposed to be sober. I'm not sober, you know, and I love joking around. And the other thing I'll say about myself is that, you know, I embrace a kind of, and this is a little controversial, I embrace a kind of liberal idea, you know? I'm very much for the advancement of women and in our leadership of I'm very close to Mother Urmila Devi Dasi, you know?
Oh, really?
Yeah, oh yeah.
She came on the show, yeah.
She did. She's a real go-getter. So, and she told me I must promote her book on this show, which of course I will. No, I'm very close to Mother Urmila. In fact, I would say that Mother Urmila is my primary contact within ISKCON. You know?
Okay, wonderful.
And look, I don't usually tell people how old I am. I'm 68, and you know I'll leave this body at some point in the not too near distant future. And I would like to become as Krishna conscious as I can. I'm very, you know, it's too bad you can't see my room. I have an altar. I have, you know, everything. So I'm very much interested in being a devotee, serving the devotee. However, after 50 years, I am definitely, and I'm not, this isn't fake humility in my case, I'm a Kanishta Adhikari. I'm like the guy that just walked in off the street. What's this? What are you guys doing here? You know, what's this food? What kind of food is this? You know, it's like I'm the guy the first time at the temple, you know, but for 50 years, I'm a Kanishta, you know?
Wow.
So it's like, oh, he's so humble. No, I'm a Kanishta. I'm a beginner. I don't know anything, you know? Everybody is my master.
Right.
So that's a little bit about my journey. And my wife, Vrndavana Devi Dasi, which many people, you know, I'm a well-known guy. See, I wrote a book on George Harrison.
Right. I heard, I got that when I researched your name.
And I was also Ronald McDonald. Did you know that?
I did know that. Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah. So it's all this weird karma around me. And I've had a lot of association with ISKCON people, lovely, lovely, wonderful people like Mother Urmila. And I had these, Mangal Maharaj just was around me for 10 years, living at my house, very strict sadhana. I was, had met, now when I met, it wasn't that only one occasion that I met Srila Prabhupada. I was actually with him for about 4 days, something like that. There's a photograph of me and Prabhupada and my wife, taken in London at the Vidya Bharat Bhavan, which was an Indian store that sold books and sitars. He went there and so forth.
Wow.
And when my spiritual master died, I got a treasure trove of letters that Prabhupada wrote, which I keep here. I have one of his chutters. But more than any other personality in my life, and I'm a big Beatle fan, love George Harrison, met George Harrison, this kind of stuff, there's nobody like Srila Prabhupada. You know what I love about Prabhupada? There's this thing that he says that I quote quite a bit, which is, my success, I'm paraphrasing, my success is based on the fact that I simply repeated what I heard from my spiritual master without adding or subtracting anything.
Right.
So that's what now there are people we know in ISKCON that kind of have their own Siddhanta. They come up with their own view and their own trip a little bit, and not in any way criticize or judge anybody, but I've seen some stuff. All right. I'll just put it that way. I've been around since 1971. Right. So I've seen some stuff along the way, and there's people that went off on wherever they went off to on some kind of a thing. And it wasn't always strictly with the truth. So I try to follow in the footsteps of Srila Prabhupada as much as I can.
Right.
Mm-hmm. That's my story of devotion.
Can you tell us a little bit about how you ended up on, before the Squid Game, tell us a little bit about how you broke into film and TV and all that.
Well, I've made 28 motion pictures. I've never had an extra part. They're all what they call principal cast, supporting star.
Right.
I made 2 movies in which I starred, but for legal reasons, they were never released. I'm what's called a character actor, which means that I can play an English lord. How are you, darling? Lovely to see you. Have you met my wife? Darling, come over here. So I can do all those kind of things, This is a very old-fashioned acting thing. I'm what's called a character actor, and I can play anything. I can't do South African. I can't do Australian, but any other accent pretty much I can do. Wow. So people appreciate, look, character actors do well. There isn't many. Most people play themselves, my brother. Most people, you just see a guy and he just plays himself. Well, I can play anything. In fact, I played a woman in a TV show not too long ago. So yeah, I can play anything. This is what I think about acting. When I was born my father was a plumber, my mother was a housewife. And as I went through that assembly line in heaven, someone said, "Hey, hold on a minute. Who's got the fairy dust? Yeah, bring it over here, Joe." And they took the fairy dust and they just sprinkled a little bit of fairy dust on me. It's all right, start the belt again. So I just got I got a little extra juice in the artistic, because I've written 32 books. I don't know if you know that. I've written all these crazy books. From 1984 to 2006, I wrote 32 books, and I made several $1 million. I did. Don't have it anymore, but I did. So I tried to use it in the service of Krishna, but I got puffed up. And when everybody was kind of being a guru, well, actually, George Harrison said to me in 1984, he said, "Why don't you be a guru then?" I said, "Well, I don't want to do anything." He says, "Oh, you're about the right age. Be a guru, why not? So everybody's a guru. This guru, well, you can be a guru too." So I came up with this ludicrous, absolutely bogus, hellish idea that I would be Jagannath Das Puripad Maharaj. And I bought $1 million property, and I got a Vyasa-san, and I sat on a Vyasa-san, and people paid their humble obeisances to me, and I was the big man in town, and it was crap, and it was just, but fortunately, Krishna smashed me. He took away all my money. took away my profession, cast me down with the sodomites into the bowels of hell, poverty, and deprivation, my brother. And that woke me up. What does he say in the Gita? To those whom I show special mercy, I take away everything they have so that they can depend solely upon me. So Krishna took all my toys away and, kicked me into hell in Bangkok. There he is there. Sorry. The thunder god has spoken. So anyway, look, I got smashed and I deserved to be. And boy, I'll tell you now, man, it's like, I don't even call myself Adhikari or anything. I'm just Jagannath Das small d. No more of that guru stuff for me, my brother, And, my daughter was somewhere in a club somewhere. And he said, oh, you got neck beads on? Yeah, man, I got neck beads. We're devotees, yeah? So who's your spiritual master? My daughter said to this guy, oh, Jagannath Das Puripad. Completely bogus. I'd like to apologize to all my brothers and sisters out there for pretending to be a guru. I'm a jerk. I'll drink to that.
So, Prabhu, the article that came out in Newsweek where it said, you were.
Stop.
Yeah.
What did you just say? A huge article in Newsweek in which they played my entire successful 3-minute audition for Squid Game. Let's say that they, put an ad in the Hollywood paper. How much will you pay for a 3-minute casting tape to go on a huge article in Newsweek? And the answer is like, $1 million or something. It just fell in my lap. I'm going to tell you something. Krishna is the owner and controller of everything. Yeah. Srila Prabhupada once, in a very short conversation I had with him, said at Bhaktivedanta Manor, he says, so what do you want to be, young man? What is your profession? I said, oh, I want to be a movie star. He said, then you shall be Krishna's movie star. So I waited through my 30s, my 40s, my 50s, well into my 60s, and here it is. Here it is. I was starting to think, come on, Prabhupada. I mean, when's this going to happen? And actually, about a month ago, I remember going to bed and looking at my son asleep and my wife asleep, and well, I tried. I did the best I could, but my lifelong dream of being a movie star is obviously not going to happen. 2 weeks later, I'm a movie star. What is that?
Amazing. In that article, so I assume that you got a lot of after that 3-minute thing, you got so many overwhelming amount of.
I've got 5 movie offers. A lady wrote me the other day and said, "Can I have your autograph?" Of course you get. No, listen. The more I get, 2 autographs all day. So she said, can you write it on a nice piece of paper? So I very neatly write out Geoffrey Giuliano, Squid Game, VIP4. And she said, okay, thank you. And then 2 days later, it's tattooed on her chest.
No.
For the rest of her life, for her future husband to see. Who's that on your chest? Look, that's the thing I can tell you that happened to me. Right. But there's other things. If you saw me in Squid Game, you'll know that there's I play a gay guy. Right. So I'm getting mail from people from all walks of life, shall we say. But that's the best one. And you know what? Then she wrote me and said, thank you so much. This autograph and meeting you has been the greatest experience of my life. I thought, Jesus, you haven't been anywhere, honey. If meeting me is so here's the thing. Here's the great thing about being a devotee of Krishna, a lifelong Kanishta Adhikari. I don't believe any of the crap. Therefore, I can skate through it. I've worked with many movie stars. Let's see, I'll give you a few names. Tommy Lee Jones, Jason Statham, and Mechanic Resurrection. Patrick Stewart. From Star Trek, Jean-Luc Picard. Funny story. we were making this movie called Jules Verne's The Mysterious Island for the Hallmark Channel in Krabi, Thailand. We were staying in this luxurious hotel. And I got an invitation under my door. Patrick Stewart would like to invite you to dinner. Please sit at his table. So I thought, well, this is fantastic, because I used to love Star Trek. So I went there and everybody's eating. And of course, I had my special vegetarian food. And he noticed that. He'd had a couple of drinks. He said, Geoffrey? Yes, Mr. Stewart. I see that you're a vegetarian. Is that true? I said, oh, yes, Mr. Stewart, I am indeed. Do you feel you're morally superior to me because you're a vegetarian? Oh, no, Mr. Stewart. No, not at all, sir. I greatly respect you. He never talked to me again while we made that movie over the next 6 weeks. And nobody talked. I was a pariah for what? Because I was a vegetarian. Now, I learned something from that. I never socialize on a set anymore. Hey, you want to come to the cast party? We're going to meet us in the bar for some drinks after that. No, I got to study my lines. I don't do anything with anybody. I go there and do my work, be quiet and go. Because, it's like you just say the smallest thing and Patrick Stewart hates your guts. And if Patrick Stewart hates your guts, everybody hates your guts, So, yeah, true story.
Wow. So what was it about?
You could never tell that I'm an actor, could you? I mean, just by my personality, you could never tell.
No,
General accountant, insurance salesman, something, a librarian. You could never tell I was an actor.
Amazing. In the Newsweek article, it was saying that you were stranded for COVID in India. Tell us a little bit about that.
6 months. Okay. So I have a son. Just a minute. Eden! I'll introduce you to my son.
Sure.
Come along here, Eden. Now, these are the devotees.
Hi,
what do
Eden.
you say to the devotees?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Could you get down so we can see you in the camera?
Here, I put him.
There you go. That's Eden Garrett Giuliano. Now, what does Eden have in the back of his head? Hey, look at that. Chip off the old block. So, okay, thank you.
Nice to meet you, Eden.
Eden.
Nice to meet you.
He's playing learning the harmonium.
Okay.
He's going to give Krishna Das a run for his money. So anyway, what was the question? Oh, stranded in India. Okay, so I thought, look, man. Okay, so I have an idea about child rearing in Krishna consciousness, which isn't exactly like everybody else's. And this goes to the liberal left wing thing.
Right.
I didn't want to force my kid to be a devotee.
Sure.
I just didn't want to do it. A lot of people do it. I didn't want to do it. So he knew I was a devotee. He knew I was practicing. And he used to, I used to sit, he would be eating beef next to me. I didn't say a word about it. Then he got onto YouTube and he started looking at videos about slaughterhouses. He came to me and he said, Dad, I'm a vegetarian now. Okay, I thought, well, he's just a little kid. It's just some phase he's going through,
Yeah.
So we went somewhere for Thanksgiving, and I said, okay, you want some turkey? What are you talking about? I'm a vegetarian. Gods are angry. So anyway, he's just totally, completely dedicated. No meat, fish or eggs, onion or garlic, coffee, tea, chocolate. Forget about it. This guy he is fixed up. He is first class. So he sits in his room and plays the harmonium. Eden's a really cool guy. It's my great privilege to know Eden. And can you hear that thunder?
I can, yeah.
Yeah, I've angered the gods for sure. Indra.
India.
Here's what happened. I decided to take Sonny Boy to India to show him Vrindavan. Take him to Vrindavan, man.
Right.
So we went to Vrindavan. I put him in school. We hung out. And then they said, we're closing India tomorrow. Nobody can get out. What are you talking about? And I had only brought $2,000 with me. We were going to stay for 2 weeks. That's enough money. But I didn't bring any credit cards. I didn't bring an ATM. Just had $2,000. Well, that's enough for Vrindavan for 2 weeks, $1,000 a week. And this was like at the end of the vacation, and they just locked the country in like they were. Eden, we only have $85, and we had to stay for 6 months. Now, look, because of the life I've led, less now, but before I was a very puffed up guy. Not so much now. But anyway, this really showed me what humility was. We had to wait in line in Vrindavan with the widows to get some halava, the halava and some dal and khichdi, and we waited in line with the other beggars. But there's something I always say. We are all beggars at the gates of the temple. Don't get any. You're not a big shot of any kind. Nobody's a big shot. Prabhupada and Krishna are big shots. We're just carbon-based life forms in a material body, and we have no reason to be puffed up about anything. Success, worldly success, has always been very easy for me to obtain. As a writer, I own a successful audiobook company called ISKCON Audiobooks, and making movies, which I've been doing since 2006. I made my first movie, but I have a master's degree in drama. So it came to me quite easily. I know how to do it. It's like a trick I've learned to be an actor. And it's like I can just pull out the bag of tricks and assume the character. So anyway, we got stranded there. I'm sorry, I digress, wandered off in the weeds. Look, we finally had to move to Jaipur because it was quite uncomfortable for me to stay in Vrindavan. I'm older, and when you're walking, you trip because the road is uneven and this kind of. Usually, I stay in the MVT like a lord, but I didn't have the money for that, so I was hanging around in Balaji ashram and this one and that one. So finally, we moved to ISKCON Jaipur, which is great, fantastic place. No one ever goes there. It's a lovely, lovely place. And we were in the guest house there, and the guy came and said, "You have to leave." Why? Well, because of COVID, we got to close down, and we had nowhere to go. And all the hotels and ashrams wouldn't take foreigners. So we were like, I was homeless in India, more or less for 6 months, hungry, and we had 2 weeks of clothes. So when we got home, Eden's jeans kind of disintegrated, and I had this saffron shirt that I wore, dress shirt, and it was like, I had to throw it away. It had been washed so many times in rivers and on stones that it was completely, it was crazy. But because I'm such a character, larger than life guy or whatever it is, I'm a little bit famous. There was a few viral articles on this, and you can see them online. And and people started sending money. Towards the end, people sent money like, okay, you and your son. And then finally, we had to be airlifted out of Thailand by the Thai government. So really? check this out. He couldn't go to America because he left his American passport. He didn't need it. He was traveling on his Thai passport, locked up in Bangkok. I couldn't go to Bangkok. They said, your son can come back to Thailand, but not you. I'm not sending a 12-year-old kid back to Thailand. Are you crazy? We'll go when we both can go. So then some lawyers, high-class Thai people, became my advocate and went to the government and said, listen, Eden doesn't really have a mother. He's a single-parent guy. You can't just let Eden come back. He's Thai. You got to let them both come back. So they airlifted us out after 6 months in January.
They airlifted you out of India to Thailand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. What a story. And so tell us a little bit about how what was the events leading up to being on Squid Game?
Okay. I made a movie which I'm very proud of.
Sure.
More proud than my performance in Squid Game, called Peninsula Train to Busan, which you can see on Netflix now. Okay. So I play what I always play, a tough guy, a bad guy. I don't just look like that, tough guy, mafia godfather. So playing that part, and it's a really good part. Very, very proud of it. I like to do what's called naturalist. I mean, I know it seems ridiculous with my larger than life personality, but in my work, I like to do this very subdued, very quiet, very menacing, naturalistic acting. That's the style I prefer. And I achieved that in Peninsula. Watch it on Netflix. Yeah. So the director saw me in that movie. And they had, now this could sound egotistical. I'm just reporting to you what happened. All right.
Sure.
This is a business in which I'm the product. So please don't hold this against me. He looked all over the world for someone to play VIP4, which was modeled on Donald Trump.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And so they found me, and they paid me more money than I normally get for a movie, like a lot more. And I thought, well, what the hell? Because I didn't know I don't know Squid Game. I thought it is a stupid name.
Right.
Squid Game. What the hell is that? So they offered me a lot of money.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take it. So I got my agent to ask for more. They offered me a lot, and then they said, well, ask for more as long as they're giving money out. So they gave me the money I wanted. And I went over there, and I made the movie. And the short answer is, the director saw me in Peninsula, trained to Busan. However, between Peninsula and Squid Game, I got a call from Netflix saying, would you be in a Woody Harrelson movie called Kate? And I said, well, yeah, sure. What's the part? And they said, well, it's a featured extra. Now, for people who don't know what a featured extra is, that means somebody who has a very few lines, and he's in the movie.
Right.
And the lady was called Ooey. I said, Ooey, I'd do anything for you, but I don't do those kind of small parts. I mean, I never did, and come on, I'm a pretty popular actor. She said, Geoffrey, would you please do it? And I said, I really can't. It's just not building the brand,
Yeah.
Okay, she said, okay, thank you. And then 2 weeks later, the phone rang, and she said, look, Geoffrey, the director really wants you to do this movie. And I said, well, listen, I told you, I'm not going to do a small part like that. Oh, I understand. She hung up the phone. 2 weeks later, she calls back again. Geoffrey, you got to do this part. The director's flipping out. He says, you're the only man to do this part. So how much are you offering me, Louis? And she told me. I said, well, I'll do it for 3 times more money than that. Okay, I'll get back to you. 2 weeks later, okay, you got it. And
wow,
I need a limo to pick me up at my place, wait for me, and then take me back as soon as I'm through shooting, because usually they have to wait around for other actors, and they drop all these different people off. So they laid on the limo, they gave me the money I wanted, and I did the movie Kate, which you can also see is a very small part. But, listen, come on. I'm just an actor. I'm not a star or anything like that. I'm just like some guy. And if a big, famous international director, I don't know his name, but obviously is, if he made a movie with Woody Harrelson. I hope I didn't say Woody Allen before. Woody Harrelson.
Yeah, you said Harrelson.
Okay, good. So it's a little hard for an actor to tell a director you're not going to do a part when he really wants you to do the part. Yeah. So I did that part. So I've got 3 movies on Netflix right now. Squid Game, Peninsula, Train to Busan, and a small part in Kate. And all of them, I play a mafia guy. Go figure.
Right. What has been your realization where you had success, but you didn't have the success that you have now? And what is your experience like in a Krishna conscious perspective now that, okay, I've had all this success, but like what's going through your mind?
Here's what's going through my mind.
Yeah.
Whatever talent I have, whatever time I have, whatever ability I have, please, everyone in ISKCON, call upon me to make a movie, to do narration, to do whatever you want. I am your humble servant. I want to dovetail, as Prabhupada would say, I want to dovetail my potential and proclivities in the service of Krishna and his devotee. So that's it. I'm a Kanishta Adhikari, and I need engagement. I need seva. I need sadhana. So the thing I would like to see happen, and what needs to happen, is ISKCON to make a real feature film. They've done documentaries. They did that one of Bhakti Charu, my Maharaj, my old buddy. I'm so old that everybody's my buddy. I knew Jayapataka when he was a brahmachari. We used to fool around and, play.
What, in Buffalo, right? Wasn't he in Buffalo?
Yeah, but I met him in Toronto when he was. I knew him when he was thin. That's that's how far back we go. So So yeah, so I know everybody knows me, and I really hope and pray that it's in the Srila Prabhupada's plan, because he's ever present, is to make a feature film and let me act for Krishna. Let me do a movie for Krishna. And that's going to involve, I don't know, Yadabar, his wife. I'm sorry, I forgot her name. She's the president. Yeah. Anybody who wants to get a hold of me, that's got something reasonable that they want to do.
But you wrote multiple books, and you wrote a book about George Harrison. You even were on TV on a talk show. I forget what that lady's name was. Quite famous.
Joan Rivers show.
Joan Rivers. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about why did you write a book about George Harrison?
Because when I was a little kid, the first time I ever heard the word Hare Krishna, let's see. Yeah. I Am the Walrus, John Lennon, 1967. Elementary Penguin singing Hare Krishna. Man, you should have seen him kicking Edgar Allan Poe. So it's just some psychedelic stuff there.
Right.
So, yeah, so that was the first time I heard, and I didn't think anything about Hare Krishna. Then maybe I knew that George Harrison was involved in Krishna. Oh, I know. I bought the Radha Krishna Temple album, which, by the way, I'm a collector of Radha Krishna Temple anything. So if any devotees have anything out there they maybe want to sell, promotional posters, I have many copies of the album, picture covers, autograph stuff with Yamuna. I'm a collector of those things, memorabilia. So anyway, so George Harrison is a great man. Srila Prabhupada said he was his archangel. He said it was his last lifetime, said he was going to go back to Godhead at the end of this life. And in 1983, I was a house sitter for John Lord of Deep Purple. Smoke on the Water, this was a big hit. And at this beautiful house outside of Henley-on-Thames. And one day, during a rainstorm like this, there was a knock at the door about 7 o'clock at night. And I opened the door, and I was the only one at home. I was a house sitter, but we had other people that lived there, but I was the only one home. And I opened the door, and it was George Harrison. Now, this was not a good period for George Harrison. George Harrison was doing cocaine, he was, and he was not in a good headspace. He wasn't the George that we know and love. It was downtime for George, 1983, winter. He came in, and I said, "Oh, Harry Ball, George," and he immediately walked into, there was somebody there. There was a friend there called Legs Larry Smith from the Bonzo Dog Band. Anyway, Larry was there. I was there. Was that the way? No, George came in, and it was just me and him, and his wife was there too. And I said Hare Krishna to him, and he looked really like not happy that somebody said Hare Krishna to him. It's like, who's this guy saying Hare Krishna to me? Because I was in a multimillionaire rock star's house, and he thought he was going to see John Lord from Deep Purple, but he saw this guy, This is before I'd written any books or anything. I was about 30. So Larry came home, and as soon as Larry came home, George took him into the back room and said, "Who is this guy? What is this, some devotee? What is this?" And then George came in, and I talked to George Harrison for about 40 minutes. And now, how do I say this diplomatically? Let's just say he was very fond of Srila Prabhupada, and perhaps less fond of others that came after.
Right.
That conveys what we want to say. And I said, "Why don't you be a guru? You're about the right age, 30 years old. Yeah, you can be a guru too, Geoffrey." And so, I met George Harrison, but it was, Dhananjaya Prabhu. Yeah. This big Scottish devotee from the Radha Krishna Temple.
Yeah.
I was in touch with him. And Tribhuvannath, the wonderful Tribhuvannath, a good buddy of mine. He was like me. He's always joking around, happy. So I knew a lot of those guys. So because I was hanging on the periphery of George Harrison's life in 1983, Dhananjaya contacted me. I love Dhananjaya. He's a wonderful man. And then he went to see George. And this is what George said to him. He told me this. Dhananjaya told me, he said, "Dhananjaya, you still into the Hare Krishna?" "Oh, yes, of course, George." He said, "Why don't you go down to the pub and get some beer, and it would do you good?" And he said, George, I did that when I was 16, man. There's nothing there for me. And he was very not receptive, and he was in a bad stage. Now he came out of that, and died a very victorious death, which is something I look forward to, a good death. My astrologers say that will occur. And here, just make sure I look wonderful. So I knew George Harrison a little tiny. I met George Harrison on one occasion. I spoke to him for about 40 minutes. I spoke to him on the phone on one occasion. And I sent him a book about healthy eating for young people. And he loved that. And he sent me a basket of avocados from his Hawaiian home. So that's the full extent of my association with George Harrison. And then I wrote the book Dark Horse, and then he didn't like me anymore because I invaded his privacy.
What was the book kind of regarding in the context
Well, it
of George
talked
Harrison?
about his real life. It talked about women that I knew that he had. The Mukunda was a little up. Mukunda caught some flack for that, So what's this devotee? He wrote a biography about me. It had nothing to do with Mukunda Maharaj. I love Mukunda Maharaj. I love him. He's fantastic. And so I hope he's doing well. So he probably might see this, right?
He might. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So anyway, I'm sorry, I lost track. Where were we?
You were talking about why they didn't like that you wrote that book.
Well, they didn't like the book because there's some personal stuff in there. Because I happened to, Legs Larry Smith and these people were doing cocaine. So there was some cocaine around, and I knew his dealer, and he said, well, I got to go to Friar Park. What for? What for, man? I got to take him an ounce of Coke, this kind of, so I heard all these Coke stories. And, I was trying to do a dispassionate, non-spin, honest biography. And I put all the wonderful things about George Harrison. And I also put that he was doing some Coke.
Right.
Go figure. People don't like that,
Yeah. There's kind of this, they just want to kind of freeze someone in that time where, helping Srila Prabhupada, helping the devotees. And I understand that, but there's, later parts of someone's life or other parts, darker parts.
But, William Blake said the road of excess leads to the palace of wisdom. So we mustn't be cross with, look, I've done drugs. I haven't done drugs in years, but I have done them. And I have also done cocaine,
Right.
But those were times when when you're a devotee, it's different, You see, there's like a little guy on your shoulder, like the Flintstones. You got the little angel and the little devil, and it's kind of saying, no, Jagannath, don't go there, And also when you do, it's like, everybody's feeling really good on the Coke. And I said, I'm sick to my stomach. It's like Krishna's like, you want to fool around and you put pins in the voodoo doll. So it's not really, it's no fun to do all that. It's fun to chant Hare Krishna. It's fun to take prasadam. It's fun to serve the widows of Vrndavana, which I love doing. It's fun to serve the devotee. Life is so dry. Birth, death, disease, and old age. I'm experiencing it right now as we speak, Yeah. I got one of them, old age. There's no disease. There's no death yet. I'm always looking over my shoulder. But the most important thing to me is I would have to say next to my son, because I'm worried about, I'm 68. He's 13. What happens when he'll be a young man when I pass away. I make sure he's okay. I tell people, if Krishna said to me, oh, Jagannath, you've passed away. Now you can go to Krishna Loka because of your service to the devotees. I'd have to say, oh, Bhagavan Shri Krishna, unfortunately, I cannot take you up on that very kind and generous offer because I'm worried about the welfare of my son, Now you can say, oh, he's very attached to his son. Yes, I am. I want to make sure he's okay. I love my son, like bigly, as Donald Trump would say. And I want him to be okay, So as long as I can do stuff for him, Krishna consciousness comes second. Oh, he's attached to his family. Yeah, I'm attached to my family. A lot, really, a lot.
Yeah.
Just my son. Basically, look, he doesn't have a mother, his natural mother. and he's a very sensitive young guy, and he's going to have some money when he dies, you know, when I die, sorry. And I don't want him to get ripped off or cheated. I don't want him to get into drugs and, you know, fentanyl. And, you know, so I want to kind of stay here and, you know, stage manage his life, because I'm quite a responsible guy, and I kind of know what the right thing to do. I've been around for so long that I can't die because I have to stay to look after Eden. But I would like Eden's about ready to take first Harinam initiation.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He seems to be really...
My idea is that he takes it from Urmila Devi Dasi. But unfortunately, that's not possible at this point in the evolution of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness.
Right. It might be at some point.
Well, actually, let me tell you what I was told kind of confidentially, which confidential no more. If you get to be a really big movie star, Jagannath, and you want your son to take initiation from Urmila, they'll probably let you. You know, if you're a big shot, you know, they'll let you. We'll see.
Right. Is there a reason you're not based in the USA? Because you grew up in the USA.
Well, I'm wanted in 10 states, my boy.
You're wanted
by the FBI. I'm joking. I've never even had a traffic. No, I know. I'm not a criminal. I just play one on TV. No, dude, I don't like America. You know, Brahmananda said to me, America, it's a pig society. You know, last time I went to America, I was in a sports car, you know, in Pennsylvania, Avalon, Pennsylvania, because my daughter's called Avalon. And suddenly there were all these cops behind me. What the hell is this? And they pulled me over, and I said, put your hands outside the window. So I put my hands out the window, and they said, don't make any sudden moves. You know, it's loudspeakers. Oh, Christ, they're going to shoot me. It may be the wrong color for that, but, you know, they're going to shoot me. And my hands are out the window, and they said, are you aware that you changed lanes without signaling? I said, is this what this is about? This is it? And I looked around, and I was in a very low car. When I got out of the car, the SWAT team was there. And they had all their guns and their body armor and their I said, what is this? You have nothing to do that when a guy makes a lane change and doesn't signal, you bring the SWAT team? So that I left America shortly thereafter. It was just too heavy police state stuff for me. And I'm a big fan, and I'm happy to say friend of Gargamuni and Brahmananda, God rest his soul. We don't have to worry about him. He's doing fine, doing better than we are. Right. And those guys, they hate America. I'm not a big fan of America. I don't really want to. Yeah, I'll tell you what. If I didn't have this child, I'd just live in the MVT. You know, in Vrindavan. I just live in Vrindavan. You know, and chant Hare Krishna.
What do you like about Vrindavan so much?
Everything. Nothing. Those monkeys. What are we going to do about those monkeys? They attack me. They take my glasses. They tried to take my cell phone. What the hell is with the monkeys already? Now, I said, we need to put birth control in their food. Oh, no, Prabhu, you don't understand, said the Vrijabasis. These are great yogis from another lifetime. You cannot do any offense to the monkeys. The monkeys, I can't even go to Loy Bazaar anymore. The monkeys are everywhere. I mean, it's like I don't know what it is. It's like a monkey mafia there. I've seen, now they take iPhones and stuff. You know, yeah. They've gone up a little bit. Before it was like, you know, take a hat, take your glasses. And it's, you know, last time I was there, one landed on my shoulder and then jumped off with my glasses. I'm telling you, it was like a hit, a mafia hit. It's like I felt something in the back of my neck, which is the way the mafia does it, you know, and wow, and then boom, gone, you know, and there's my glasses. And what do they want? Mango fruity. Because I said, well, what do we do with it? Do you have mango fruity? No, I don't have mango fruity. What would I have? Get my glasses down. Please, Prabhu, calm down. We'll get you the mango fruity. Get the mango fruity. So we got the mango fruity, and we gave him, and he very graciously accepted not one, not two, about 10 mango fruities. And then just as he was going to drop the glasses, where's my glasses? Just before he was going to drop the glasses, he just very, very calmly broke them in half and then dropped the 2 pieces down.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
So I think they should do now. Listen, let me tell you, I'm taking my glasses off again. See those beautiful eyes. So anyway, there is a way to control the monkeys in Vrindavan, and they should do it. I found out, if you've been to Rishikesh, they have these great big monkeys,
right?
Super big monkeys. Vrindavan monkeys are deathly afraid of those little, of those big monkeys. They're called lemur or something like that. I'm not sure what they're called.
Yeah.
And I said, so what? Well, if you brought those to Vrindavan, they would just seeing that monkey, they'd all run away. So I said, here's what to do. Because I love Loy Bazaar. I mean, one of the big reasons I come to Vrindavan is go shopping in Loy Bazaar.
Right.
So what happened? So I said, get cages and put them in sort of strategic places in Loy Bazaar and put those monkeys in there, and then they're shaking the cages, and then all the monkeys will split because you can't kill them. You can't birth control. My idea was birth control. And people have talked about taking them away. So Vrindavan is the tourists, the Indian tourists. It's their country, God bless them. The Indian tourists and the monkeys are, to me, a big problem. Look, I used to go to Vrindavan in the 1980s and 90s, man. And it was like, ooh, Krishna land, But if you want that now, you go to Varsana, you go to, out.
Govardhan.
I love ISKCON Vrindavan, and I love, what's his name? The temple president there again?
Panchagoda.
Panchagoda is my buddy. I love to eat in the restaurant and hang out with my old buddies. And I love Vrindavan, and it's absolute 100%. If I didn't have my son and he didn't have to go to international school and all that stuff, I would be in Vrindavan like forever, like Gargamuni and all my buddies.
Yeah.
There is one thing I will say.
Sure.
All the devotees that are kind of like, or most of the devotees from my generation were like 10 years older than me. So I'm 68. So some of them are getting up there. Vyasaki, he's a real good friend of mine. And I said, how
really?
I'm 81. 81? My God, 81? So, it's like I'm flipping out about turning 70. But
wow.
I think because there's who's there? And I said, Geoffrey Giuliano, kid. bring him in. I was like the little kid. Hi, hi guys. Hare Krishna, Hare Bo. And it was like, well, I was like the kid. The kid. And
right.
Now I'm 68 and they're 78. So I'm kind of happy I was younger.
Right. What would you say to someone who wants to, like a devotee who wants to break in? Because I know break into the acting scene, because I know there's a lot of, not a lot, but there's a few devotees who are trying to make it there somehow, but also be devotees at the same time. What would you say to them?
Don't do it. Forget about it. Forget about it. Don't do it. It's not a good idea. It's not good. Don't do it. I don't think you should do it. Unless you're crazy like me, you can't do it. My wife is sitting over here. She's Thai, and she said, your personality. I studied your personality. Your personality, lunatic. And today she added a few more. Crazy, insane, mad. So unless you there was a movie many years ago with Sean Connery called A Fine Madness. I have a personality type. In fact, I probably have several. Unless you're kind of like me, which there's not too many, please don't do it. It's heartbreaking. You'll be rejected constantly. There's no encouragement I can reasonably give. However, if you're intent upon doing it, you can do it. Morgan Freeman says this. First of all, Morgan Freeman didn't get an acting job till he was in his 50s. Okay. That's one thing.
Wow.
He said, don't do it. Don't do it. But if you must do it, commit yourself 100% and it will happen. And I was so angry with Morgan Freeman until about a month ago, because this Come on, Morgan. I did everything you said, and it happened,
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about how you met Mangal Maharaj and a little bit about him, because I know
That's good story.
He's not with us. He's not with us anymore, right?
No, he's not. Okay, so here's what happened in 1981. Okay, Vishwakarma from the Toronto Temple, who actually got the Toronto Temple for ISKCON, he'll probably go to Krishna Lok just for that. It's a lovely, lovely building. Bhakti Maharaj is there, another one of my old buddies.
Oh, wow.
And an actor, good actor.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, he's a good actor. So I was there in 1981, and sometimes Vishwakarma would let yogis stay there, like yogis, not I'm talking about yogis, long-haired, hatha yoga guys.
Yeah.
And he would sometimes. So, and, ultimately they would come and go. But Mangal Maharaj came from the Gaudiya Math, and because of his good relationship with Srila Prabhupada, he was allowed to stay. So I just went in the temple room to pay my obeisances, and there he was. He looked like E.T. He was a little cute little sannyasi, a little humbly-tumbly, little E.T. alien sannyasi, little teeny cute sannyasi. And he's sitting there on the floor, and he rapped on the floor 3 times. Come here. So I went there, and he said, "What is your good name, sir?" Geoffrey Giuliano, blah, blah, blah. And then what ensued was about, 10 years of almost constant association. And yeah, he said, "Oh, Jagannath, why you act crazy? You lazy, hazy, and crazy. Why you acting such and so forth?" He said, "Why don't you be sober? You're joking all the time, and all this is not good." And yeah, I don't know. But here's the thing. My ex-wife, Vrinda, many devotees know, she's once said to me, Geoffrey, you've talked yourself into millions of dollars. And you've also talked yourself out of millions of dollars with your big mouth, So what I have to say, Maharaj was very, he used to just laugh. Oh, this is what he said. "Oh, Jagannath, you are otherwise." And I knew what he meant. You're not like with everybody else. You're otherwise. And I am indeed otherwise. So funny thing happened with Dinu Bandhu, Prabhu and me. We were Maharaj, he didn't have much money ever. And I paid for everything for a long time. And he's a great man. And he's my spiritual master. And I always figure I have 2 spiritual masters. A man cannot serve 2 masters, but I can. I got Srila Prabhupada, and I got Mangal Maharaj, and that's the way I roll, right or wrong. I don't know, it's the way I roll. When I do my obeisances, I do my obeisances to Srila Prabhupada first, and then I do my obeisances to Mangal Maharaj. That's what I do. Yeah. So we were going to Radhakund in a really dangerous tuk-tuk all the way from Raman Reti. And I said, "Maharaj, can't we get a car?" No, we must not waste Krishna's money. We have to we are devotee. Every farthing we have to use in the service. So we'll take this tuk-tuk. I said, "Okay, Maharaj." So we got in tuk-tuk, and we're going along on the Agra Road, which isn't a big 2-lane thing or a big super highway like it was. It was a little, very dangerous road. Yeah. And then we're going along, and suddenly it flipped over several times and into a ditch. Now, it just so happened that it was on its side. Mangal Maharaj was on the bottom, and I was on top of Mangal Maharaj. So in order to get out of there, I had to climb out through the window. I had to put my feet and use Mangal Maharaj as like the stool to get out of this on fire, smoking thing. I mean, I had to. So I was like, "Excuse me, Maharaj," and I'm, putting my feet on his head, and his, I was like, crawling out of the thing. And then I'm crawling out, and then I see a little face. Dinu Bandhu. "Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Is there a problem?" "Is there a problem? I'm stepping all over my spiritual master. The tuk-tuk fell off." Yeah. So anyway, Dinu Bandhu picked us out. Dinu Bandhu. I said, here's what I said. I remember saying, "I'm from Buffalo. I'm from Buffalo. Do you understand it? I'm not one of you guys. I'm from Buffalo, New York. This shouldn't be happening to me." So as I stepped over my spiritual, stepped on my spiritual master about 30 times before I could get my fat ass out of the thing. Dinu Bandhu pulled me out, and then we righted the thing, and we got Mangal Maharaj out, and I was cut up quite badly. So he always said to me, "Oh, you're stepping on over your spiritual master, trying to jump over your spiritual master, and step over you." I literally, I'm sorry, is that your face, Maharaj? But what could I do?
I'm crying.
Was upside down. It was on fire. And of course, then when we got out, we pulled Maharaj out. The driver was dead, so it was heavy duty. And
the driver was dead?
He was dead, some real tall guy, really super black guy. And Dinu Bandhu, when he sees me, he says, "Hey, you're from Buffalo." He always seems. I love Dinu Bandhu's he's pure devotee. I think Dinu Bandhu's a pure devotee. He's a wonderful man.
Yeah, he's great.
And your Guru Maharaj, I've known for a long, long time.
Wow.
He said to me one time, he said, "Jagannath, you're very special." Thank you, Maharaj. No, really. You're so special. So there you go.
Awesome. Something I really like about you, Prabhu, is that you're very much yourself. And I think sometimes devotees can get caught up in trying to be someone they're not. Mm. And I was just wondering, what advice would you have for devotees?
Well, first of all, I'm someone I'm not for a living. Right. I'm an actor. Right. I play other people,
Right.
So here's the thing. Old King Cole was a jolly old soul, and a jolly old soul I'm a jolly old soul. I like to have fun. I like to laugh. I like to be happy. I like attention. I'm an actor. Look, when I was a little 3, 4, 5, I'd say to my parents, "It's showtime!" And I'd get behind the sofa and I'd say, "Hey, everybody, it's showtime!" Whatever it was that I did, I'm a Martian. And it was that kind of thing. Now, I have some of that thing that you've seen this in other actors, most notably Robin Williams. It's this my wife's sitting here. She just said, "Why are you always acting?" This is what I know how to be and what I know how to do, Right. It's like asking a fish not to swim, I'm an actor. I'm a natural born actor. You're going to get a lot of people writing at the bottom, "Oh, that guy," but it's just, and now I've been encouraged by Squid Game. It's like, before I was just this kind. I try to keep it under wraps a little bit. Well, if everybody likes it, and I don't know, did you see me in Squid Game?
I did. Fantastic.
You saw more of me than you wanted to.
Right? Yeah, my wife said that we could see
that's
it anyway.
A devotee? So yeah, no, look, listen, if you're an actor, hard to say no to Netflix when they want you to do something,
Yeah.
So do you think I wanted to do that? Do you think I wanted to say those jokes about sex? I did not. Right. But, it's like I had to do it. They're the employer, In fact, when I got there, the script, sorry, we're veering off topic a little bit, but the script, I knew the script was otherwise, shall we say, to be diplomatic. So I said to the director, "I'm a writer. You want me to punch this up a little?" "No, there's no time for that." Okay. So then I knew that the script was otherwise. So when I got on the set, I kind of didn't say certain things and improvised. And I heard this voice from this, "Please stick to the script, Mr. Giuliano." What could I do? I asked him if I could rewrite it, punch it up. I asked him, I then, against orders, I just started ad-libbing so I didn't have to say some of those things. And they insisted that I say it exactly as it is in the script, so I had to. Now, I didn't know that I had to take my clothes off in that movie. Right. What do you mean? I just didn't read the script. After I got the part, I just put it in my bag and I just got there and they said, "So, you ready for your big scene tomorrow, Mr. Giuliano? I said, I certainly am. Great. We're going to have someone there when you take your clothes off. I said, excuse me? What do you mean take my clothes off? Well, take your clothes off in front of the whole world. That thing. No, I don't know. What the hell are you talking about? So they showed me the script. And what could I do? I signed a contract. What am I going to do? I would have been blacklisted if I'm not doing that. I had to do it. But I negotiated. I said, okay, I want to wear a robe, because they were going to do the whole thing. And I said, no, just do my butt. Right. And I'll have a robe. Great. I never thought I'd be speaking about this on a Krishna conscious radio show. But anyway, so I did it. And, I'm not really embarrassed about it, because actors, when they're caught, it was an integral part of the director's vision. You have to submit, like a spiritual master, you have to put yourself at the feet of the director. If you're an actor, do what they say. Yeah. I tried to get out of it. I bargained with him. I negotiated with him. I got it a lot better than originally. But it was, it was uncomfortable when I did it. There was a lot of young girls on the set. And I said, could someone get me a blanket, please? And they got me a blanket. Right. And then I had to lay there, when I was unconscious in the movie. It's they had to change the lights and put a track down so that camera can move around. And it takes 45 minutes. And so I just lay there so that they can put all the lights on you, Right. And I said, again, could I have a blanket? Right. They got me a blanket. So yeah, that was a very strange, odd thing. But here's the deal. Squid Game has changed my life in every financially, everything. It's like getting offers from all around the world to make major motion pictures. And it's what I've always wanted. And if I had to show my butt in a movie, play a crazy guy, no problem, Yeah. So, but listen, I want to tell you that no matter how I have this personality, I'm a normal person. I'm not crazy. I'm ultra responsible. I do the right thing. I look after my son. I look after my wife. I don't waste money. I don't take any intoxication. I have no psychiatric diagnosis. I'm normal, right. But I'm an actor. So I know that some of the Prabhus out there will think, well, why do you act like that? Is it necessary? It's just it's a personality thing, but it sells. It's like I'm a popular guy. Yeah. And maybe if I wasn't like this, I might not be as popular and might not have the facility that I have. But I'll tell you something: if Yadubar or his wife or anybody wants to call me to make a Krishna conscious movie, I'll do it for free, no charge.
Wow. Yeah, that's what I mean. I appreciate your honesty, and you're just being yourself. And I think that's something that a lot of people can benefit from, in the sense of being yourself is so beneficial to just advance in Krishna consciousness and in life. I always talk about this with my guests, that how to become that honest person. Like it takes a certain level of humility to be yourself, because it exposes who you really are, instead of putting facades up of okay, I'm a really great devotee, I got really straight tilak, I'm the whole thing, but the things that you mentioned in the podcast here, someone wouldn't say all those things if they had to put up that facade. But it's a
it is correct. I don't have it. I'm not in kind of fake. I was. But you got to understand, Krishna took away about $9 million from me. He smashed me. I mean, in the absolute Bhagavatam definition of getting smashed, I got smashed by when I pretended to be Srila Jagannath Das Puripad Maharaj. When I pretended to be that and sat on a Vyasasana, right. Started giving class and people bowing down and paying their obeisances to me. It's like, thank God, it only cost me $9 million. Wow. It's like I settled my debt with Krishna pretty quick, and just a matter of $9 million. Yeah. And now I'm kind of back on track.
Yeah, that's amazing. Anyway, Jagannath Prabhu, it's been fantastic speaking with you. Do you have any parting words or anything else that you want
Yes,
to?
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
please.
I
Please.
do. It's preaching to the choir, but we are all in this material world with a very, Srila Prabhupada said that life in the material world is like a raindrop on a lotus leaf. It can just roll off at any moment. Now, today or tomorrow, you're going to hear, Jagannath Das, the actor, the writer, he's passed away. So not every day, but every moment is like a diamond. We need to please use the time that we have remaining, and no one knows how. Look at the poor devotees in Bangladesh. You can die at any time. Srila Prabhupada was once on a plane with Pusta Krishna, my buddy, big buddy, Pusta Krishna. And the plane suddenly fell, like 1,000 feet. And everybody was freaking out and holding on, and Prabhupada was completely composed. And he looked at Pusta Krishna and said, yes, we can die at any time. So knowing that this sort of Damocles of death is hanging over us, please, we must work together as a family. We must use the proclivities, talents, and energies that we have, like Ambarish Prabhu, in a good way, in a sweet way, so that we can please our spiritual masters and please Krishna as best we can, and understand that in and of ourselves, we are nothing without the blessings of the Vaishnavas, Srila Prabhupada, and Bhagavan Shri Krishna. I'm nothing. I'm just some guy, blowhard, big mouth guy, and a little bit of charisma or something, ingredient X, whatever it is, has made me a little bit popular in some kind of a frivolous, temporal way. But the real sweet home, as Mangal Maharaj used to say, for all of us is at the lotus feet of Shri Guru and Gauranga, taking shelter of the holy name. That's what I have to say.
Wow. Thank you so much. Very amazing wisdom from you, Prabhu. Thank you so much for doing this. This is fantastic. All my friends are going to be so excited to see that I was able to interview you. But thank you so much. And if you want to get in touch with Jagannath Prabhu, he is on Facebook. You can find him on Facebook there. And thank you so much, everyone, for listening. Yes, Prabhu, you want to mention?
Can you put my website?
Sure, yeah.
URL and I'll send you some URLs to put, so any devotee want to contact me, and please tender my sincere obeisances under the lotus feet of your spiritual master Radhanath Maharaj too.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, 1 second, Prabhu. I'm just going to post this. This is the website, geoffreygiuliano.com.
Indeed you do.
Yeah, you can find Prabhu there. And Prabhu, stay on. I'm just going to turn off the recording. Hare Krishna, everyone.